Hello everyone, it's that time again when my Master Questscape overview guide is due for a revamp. The Master Questscape has changed quite significantly in the last year, with a group of new requirements being added in January 2023, and also it has now been made a requirement for the trimmed Completionist Cape. This means there may be more people going for the Master Questscape than ever before, which is quite exciting to be honest. Therefore, you may be here because you are looking to go for the trimmed Completionist Cape. I wish you the best of luck with this brilliant endeavour. Maybe I'll get there one day. You also might be here because you have just achieved the Quest Cape, and if so, I congratulate you on this amazing feat. The next logical step for you will be to go for the Master Quest Cape, but I do understand how long the grind looks. Last year, there were 253 requirements for the Master Quest Cape when I released my last overview guide. This year there's a whopping 268, and yes, only one of them is to complete all the quests, and another is to complete all the mini-quests, leaving 266 other requirements to complete. If you choose this path, you must siphon through over 20 years worth of other lore content. If you don't know where to begin, don't worry, I've got you covered. My name is Hunteresque in game, or the RuneScape Lorehound, and let's have a look at the lengthiest requirements of the Master Quest Cape in 2023. As per usual, to start, let's take a look at the updated skill requirements for the Master Quest Cape for 2023. So, you need all skills at least level 90 minus invention, 91 cooking, crafting and constitution, 93 magic which is boostable, 95 firemaking and fletching. I don't believe these are boostable, and this is for the Bill and Ben's Egg Salon Joint Venture achievement, which is quite new. 95 mining, which is boostable, 95 divination, which is boostable, and that's for the data recovery achievement, 99 rune crafting, 114 farming, which is also boostable, 115 slayer, which is boostable, 117 dungeoneering, which is boostable, but I would always recommend 120, and this is because the Dungeoneering Master Skill Cape perk increases lore book drop rates and sometimes allows you to pick which boss you face. And finally, 120 archaeology for all the research and the mysteries. So let us move on to the 2023 lengthiest requirements for the MQC. Just a quick note that some of these explanations will be very similar to last year's guide, as the advice and achievement have not changed, but some have changed and I've included some new ones. So let's begin with All Rise. You must complete all court cases. So this achievement can be long if you try doing it without doing any research. I have covered this in Master Quest Cape A to Z Guide 3, where I will explain how to shorten this achievement. One example of shortening this achievement would be setting your Miscellanea Kingdom to gain caskets from fishing. So a suggestion card will appear now for you to click on. So the estimated completion time for All Rise would probably be between 3 and 6 hours if you buy caskets to loot court summons from them, but it could be double that for Iron Men, who will have to collect caskets themselves, potentially from Dagonoths or the like. Next is the Angs Off My Ring achievement, where you must retrieve the wedding ring after the Light Within quest. So I've covered this achievement in detail already, just like All Rise. And you can view more details of this by clicking the suggestion card, which will appear now for A to Z MQC Guide 4. Basically, you must kill crystal shapeshifters on Tardiad to get a very rare Ancient Elven Wedding Ring drop, which you then give to Angoff, who's just across the bridge. So the estimated time for completion on this one unfortunately is unknown due to the RNG element of it, and as the drop is very rare, it's unlikely it's going to take you 5 minutes. So it's very important for me to mention the archaeology requirements, as they do take a very long time, but really it boils down to completing the skill. So for all the archaeology requirements, it requires 120 for the final Orphan research. There are some great guides on getting archaeology to 120, so please do take a look around YouTube. The estimated time for completion is very long. It's a lot of AFK skilling. There are quite a few mysteries, but they rarely last more than an hour, and you can generally AFK the research once you've found it within the dig sites. However, there is almost a spin-off of the Archaeology Requirements this year in the form of the Armadylean, Bandosian, Dragonkin, Saradominist, Zamorakian and Zarosian Expert achievements. So you must restore a collection of each of these sets of artefacts. Added to the Master Questscape in January 2023, this group of achievements adds a good number of hours to the archaeology based achievements, especially if you haven't done this as you are levelling up archaeology. If you haven't started archaeology yet, ensure that you restore one of every single artefact as you progress through the levels. If you already have levelled archaeology to 120 and used methods to quicken your progress, you may find you have some missing from your collection. Check your Archaeology Journal's Archaeological Artefacts section, which you can see on screen, and then find and restore the artefacts which are darkened. Clicking on an artefact should reveal its excavation location, but if not, the RuneScape wiki can help you. Once you have a full coloured collection log as shown on screen, you will unlock these 6 achievements. Importantly, the miscellaneous section does not count. So the estimated completion time for this group of achievements is kind of unpredictable. It's dependent on how many artefacts you restored on your archaeology journey, or if you're new to archaeology, this could add a few hours to your grind, but may not if you keep on top of what you're unlocking per level. Added at the same time as the archaeology collection log requirements was the Castaways of the Ark achievement. You must discover all the Ark castaways. So in various places within the Ark, or as otherwise known the Eastern Lands, you can find messages in a bottle which have treasure maps leading to castaways. There are 10 castaways in total, and each bottle you find has an interesting and unique cycle from when it appears. So the first castaway bottle appears within 1 day, the second within 2 days, third within 3 days, all the way up to the 10th, which appears every 10 days. As I've already done this achievement, you won't see the bottle, but I'm just going towards one of the locations, or roughly one of the locations of one of the bottles. So once you've found a bottle, open it for a treasure map, speak to Quartermaster Gully with it in your inventory to visit the castaway. Speak to the castaway on their island to log him or her in your Ark journal. Each bottle appears in different places on the Ark, which can be found on the RuneScape wiki or will be covered by me at a later date. You can view how many castaways you've found using the Ark journal. If you've lost your journal, speak to Sharkborn on the northern Waiko docks to reclaim. Very occasionally, as in once every 7 years, all castaway bottles appear on the same day. Unfortunately, this was last on the 9th of November 2022, so there won't be another one of these until the 3rd of October 2029. Needless to say, don't rely on that method. Estimated completion time for this one, it's short but time gated by up to 10 days. Coming up next is the Complete Trekky achievement, where you must level up all temple trekking companions to level 99. My biggest piece of advice is to take vampire killing weaponry such as the Sun Spear or Blisterwood, as you are quite likely to come across vampires which cannot be defeated with anything else, essentially forcing you to teleport out of the trek. So the estimated time for completion on this one is somewhere in the ballpark of 10 to 20 hours. It's been many years since I've done this one. If anyone has a better kind of estimated completion time, please post it in the comments. Next we have Data Recovery or Guthix and the Chamber of Secrets. These achievements are linked. Help the Archivist recover all core memory data in the Hall of Memories. So northwest of the Eagle's Peak Lodestone is the Hall of Memories. Data Recovery is the requirement which has pushed the Divination skill requirement for the MQC up to 95, although this is boostable. So in the Hall of Memories, you must help the Archivist recover all the core memory data. You do this by filling the memory storage bots he gives you, and you can see this on screen. So this final bot basically requires level 95 divination to fill. So the estimated time for completion on this one, it's probably only around 3 to 4 hours, but as it has pushed the divination requirement up, I thought it would be beneficial to mention. Next is the Diary of Oreb achievement, where you must collect all 5 Magister journals. They can be collected from the Magister himself with 115 Slayer, or from the Sophanum Slayer dungeon monsters. As I didn't have level 115 Slayer, I had to collect the books from the Slayer monsters, which took me 3 nights of grinding to get these books. I would estimate the lore book drop is around 1 in 800 from the Slayer monsters, so not really very high, but is a 1 in 10 when you kill the Magister. So if you have a level 115 Slayer, I would highly recommend killing him instead for the journals. Ensure that you read each diary as soon as you get it, or you may not get the next one. And take your Lorehound pet to increase book drop rate chance. So the estimated time for completion on this one, 7 to 12 hours without level 115 Slayer, but likely much less if you defeat the Magister. Next is Dragon Ink, of Kraken Ink, and the Many Hands That Write. So each first and second elite dungeon boss from the 3 elite dungeons, well there's 4 now but from the first 3, drop a journal which are needed for the Master Quest Cape. Books from elite dungeon bosses have a 1 in 10 drop rate on story mode, so I'd highly recommend completing them on story mode for the books. However, I don't think the RNG gods got the memo when I did this achievement, as some of these journals took me 40 kills on a single boss, so please be aware that this requirement may take longer than expected. Estimated completion time? Unknown unfortunately, as RNG based. Dragonkin Diary. This one makes me a little bit uncomfortable. You must find and return Naressa's journal to her by killing Nodon Dragonkin on the Nodon front of the Elder God Wars. So this is an interesting achievement, similar to Angs of Myreque, and I've just about got over the bitterness of it from last year. So the chance of getting the diary is very rare, but you're guaranteed to get it on kill number 1601. I mentioned last year that Dragon got hers within about 70 kills. I got mine at 1601 kills. So for the average player, these Nodon are not very AFKable, so this was even more of a slog than it needed to be. Make sure you have your Lorehound pet out though, because apparently it helps. The estimated completion time is unknown, as it's RNG based, but seriously, 1601 kills could take 15 to 30 hours. There are many Dungeoneering requirements for the Master Quest Cape which require luck and high Dungeoneering levels. I would recommend level 120, you need 117, but I recommend 120 for the Dungeoneering Master Cape for increased lore drop rates and a chance to pick the next boss you face. Time to talk about these in alphabetical order. Beginning with Behemoth Notes, which requires level 101 Dungeoneering to fight the Hope Devourer, which is the last boss for the last note. I've covered this in detail. Please see A to Z guide, MQC guide that is 11, which will pop up now via suggestion card for more details on this task. Next, the History of Bilrak achievement. The final Mysterious Chronicle can be found on floor 59 to 60, which requires at least level 117 Dungeoneering to access. Calgerian Notes. The last part can be obtained from floors 57 to 60, requiring at least level 113 Dungeoneering. The Marmaris and Thok letters. The last letter can be obtained between floors 54 and 60, requiring level 107 Dungeoneering. The Miscellaneous Notes. There are certain bosses that drop these Miscellaneous Notes, and the Master Cape, that is the Dungeoneering Master Cape, increases the drop rate of each. And finally, the Stalker Notes, which can be found between floors 54 and 60, or that's the last part, and requires level 107 Dungeoneering. Very difficult to estimate the completion time on this one. There's many hours of levelling Dungeoneering. I would recommend Sinkholes every day, or you could do the Elite Dungeons on normal mode if you're into PVM. If you're going to go the Sinkhole route, I'd recommend doing the Daemonheim hard tasks, which give you a 10% experience boost to XP gained in Sinkholes. All in all though, these achievements will take you a very long time to get, similar to Archaeology. It's that time, we're at Eastern Adventurer. This one always brings back some frustrating memories when I mention it. So you will need at least level 90 in either Agility, Construction, Cooking, Divination, Dungeoneering, Fishing, Herblore, Hunter, Prayer, Runecrafting, Slayer or Thieving to start, but to finish this you need level 90 in all of the skills I've just mentioned. This requirement is really long, and will probably be a mini-series when I get to it on the A to Z guide. To put it as simply as I can, you must complete all of the story missions, which is shown by book icon in the minigame menu to complete this achievement. You upgrade your port by sending out just regular voyages. You need to have a certain amount of time at sea to unlock the next island, and the time increases as you go from island to island. 6 million miles are required for the last story mission, and this is beyond the last island you unlock. There are 9 story missions per character, although some of the stories involve multiple characters. You can check your total miles in your captain's log. I never know how to give an estimated time for completion on this one. I would honestly say it's kind of like 12 to 18 months of playing each day. Family Spirit Tree. So you need 114 farming, which is boostable. But some of you may not have to get the level 114 farming level if you completed this requirement prior to the release of 120 farming, as Jagex for some reason did not reset the achievement for those who had already grown the other final Spirit Tree before this one was released. But if you did not complete Family Spirit Tree before 120 farming was released, you will now need to get the 114 farming, or at least a high enough level to boost to 114 to grow the final Spirit Tree at Manor Farm. So the estimated completion time for this can be very quick if you have 114 farming or you're close to it, as I think you can buy growth potions from Granny Potterington which make trees grow faster, but it's kind of slow if you need to level it up to a boostable level. Following in the footsteps where you needed to find out the outcome of the research continued by Vicindithas used to take between 6 months and a year, but fortunately Jagex have reduced the time-gatedness of this requirement. Originally, this achievement was completed by visiting Vicindithas in the effigy incubator once a month for 12 months to learn about his research. And this was improved by the ability to use D&D monthly reset tokens, which whittled the minimum amount of time down to 6 months. But now both of these methods have an unnecessary waiting time, as there is a shortcut for those players who have completed Extinction. Vicindithas can now accelerate his research by accepting 50,000 of each Anachronian resource, totaling 600,000 of each resource needed to unlock all 12 chapters of his research. Of course, it will take your workers a fair amount of time to gather these resources, hence why it's still on the list, but not nearly as much time as 6 months. So the estimated completion time has gone down from 6 months to a year to probably only about 1 to 2 months now, just to give your workers enough time to collect the resources. So Ivan is Flailing remains on the lengthiest requirement list. You must kill 500 via watch and loot their corpses to sacrifice at the Columbarium to upgrade the Ivandis Flail, which is a weapon given from the Myreque quest series. I collected many of these corpses on Slayer tasks, but these did take me like 3 hours to burn them all. So you need to take a magic pyre log down into Patadomus and into the Columbarium to begin sacrificing corpses. Now I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but if you don't really want the rewards, you can just continuously sacrifice and not check the cupboards at all to speed up the achievement. The estimated completion time is probably between around 4 and 8 hours. Fancy a really long mini-quest? Give Mahjarrat Memories a swing. This mini-quest has you gather various memories from important Mahjarrat locations. These memories take a huge amount of time to unlock, but are interesting for a lorehound. The estimated completion time is anywhere from 7 to 10 hours. As of December 2022, this long mini-quest has been included under the I've got a little list of mini-quests achievement, but I felt that it was important to mention because of its length. You must get a book drop called The Scions of Erebus from an Abyssal Lord in the Centeston Asylum or the Wilderness for the Message from the Abyss achievement. These Abyssal Lords require level 115 Slayer to kill, but this can be boosted. The Lorehound pet increases the drop rate chance of the book, but it is listed as uncommon, so it shouldn't take you too long. The estimated time for completion on this one, it's unknown as RNG based, but you have to factor in that you may need to level your Slayer to at least 110 to be able to boost to level 115. So, my precious, find and return Greg Groggy Herring's Lost Ring, another one of these new achievements added to the MQC list in January 2023, but is also quite long-winded. You must fish at the Deep Sea Fishing Hub, and you will very rarely have the chance of pulling up a ring instead of a fish at any one of the fishing spots. Returning this to Greg Herring in the Crow's Nest next to the Fish Flingers Fisherman will net you this achievement. No extra points for noticing the fishing pun there. Estimated completion time is unknown, again unfortunately due to RNG, but just be aware that the chance to receive the ring quickly is unfortunately very low. Small spoiler alert, in the Lord of Vampirium and River of Blood quests, a number of the Myreque members are killed. You must help leader Veliath move on by creating a statue to commemorate each Myreque member. The estimated completion time, they're short tasks, but this achievement is time gated by 10 days. One achievement I think I missed last year was the One Final Ride achievement. You must find and read the last rider's book dropped by the King Black Dragon. The reason I missed it is because this book has a 1 in 1,000 drop rate, that's cut down to 1 in 750 with the Lorehound pet out. The book is guaranteed after 2,000 kills of the KBD. I fortunately got mine around kill 450. The estimated time for completion is unknown, again due to the RNG, but 2,000 kills, if you have to get all of them and you get unlucky, that will be pretty lengthy. Here it is, penny for your life. Complete Dimension of Disaster 5 times. You need 30 silver pennies to unlock all the upgrades, and you get 10 pennies on the first completion and 5 pennies per replay. The estimated completion time for this one is around 7 to 8 hours. Enjoy replaying it 5 times. The History of Slayer achievement can only be accessed after achieving at least level 99 Slayer. You need to collect 110 out of 169 souls using 1 Ushabti per soul, which are bought from Slayer Masters. This requires a total of 1,700 Slayer points to be able to purchase enough Ushabtis. They're 20 Slayer points each. To make up the 110, Pfizer in the Sunken Pyramid will give you 25 free Ushabtis when you first talk to her at 99 Slayer. Hence why 1,700 additional Slayer points are needed and not 2,200. Pfizer also gives you 1 free Ushabti each time you level up Slayer, and an extra 4 when you get to level 120, so you may need less Slayer points than that. It's worth noting that with 115 Dungeoneering and at least level 95 in all other skills, you can do the Motherlode more daily, which has a chance of giving you some Ushabtis for free. So the estimated completion time for this one, I honestly think it's over 45 hours. It's very difficult to give a time estimate due to the RNG, but for me, this took a very, very long time. But perhaps this is shortened with a higher Slayer level? I'm not sure. To Dream, Perchance to Keep. A new achievement when I looked at it last year. You must allocate Anachronian resources to skilling plots in the Dream of Aya. So watch out here if you are saving those resources to give to Fisindithas. You must unlock a story from each of the 6 skilling plots. There's Herblore, Fletching, Hunter, Fishing, Construction and Crafting. Each skilling XP drop at these plots will give a chance to progress the shopkeeper's willingness to share a story with you. Once you get 4 of these lore drops for 1 stall, the owner will share their full story with the passkeeper, and you will have completed the story for that stall. So the Lorehound pet does increase progression chance, and something important to note is that the dialogue changes as you progress towards the next lore drop. Each stall holder starts by saying, "If you keep supplying me with more Anachronian resources, I can teach you much about Ilajankan techniques," to "You have learned much after you've made significant progress." Once completed, a notification will pop up on screen and the stall holder will tell you they've shared a story with the passkeeper. Apparently, you are able to force the receiving of each story part by contributing 1 XP at a time to the skilling location. This is a lot more click intensive, but allows the requirement to be done with much fewer resources. I want to clarify though, I have not tested this and I don't know if it works. The estimated completion time, well, it's time gated because you need the Anachronian resources, but it's also RNG based, so I can't really give you an estimate. You're Not My Real Mah earns its place as the final lengthiest requirement of the Master Questscape for 2023. You must collect Elder Chronicles when they are released from Divination Springs in the Frenesque Elder Halls, which can be sped up with the Elder Divination outfit. The estimated completion time for this one is between 7 and 12 hours of just constant divination gathering. How fun! And that brings us to the end of the 2023 Master Questscape Lengthiest Requirements Guide. Please subscribe for more Master Questscape content. It would be great to have you join us Lorehounds. I hope this video gave you a taste of the Master Questscape grind and will help you towards your goals, whether that be the Master Questscape itself or the Trimmed Completionist Cape. And hey, If you ever get weary with Slayer or frustrated at ports, just listen to the tale of Waiko and imagine yourself drifting on a raft into the sunset on the ocean. Maybe that'll help. Or maybe it won't. See you soon.